The stock market has a new member. It's called Zamaz PLC, and I am delighted to be joined by the Chief Executive, Chris Hill. So, Chris, congratulations on the listing, but I'm wondering what made you decide to come to market now and why the main market?
Hi, Sarah. Thank you very much. Good to be with you. So this is a fantastic pivotal moment for Zamaz. We're just a 3-year-old startup, and here we are listing on the main market of the London Stock Exchange. It's an amazing journey. This is an interesting time, obviously, in many respects, to be listing on any stock market, let alone the London Stock Exchange. And there's a backdrop of interesting sort of macro factors. But for us, it's about being focused on what we're trying to do and executing our strategy going forwards. The direct listing was very simpler for us, and we have a fantastic stakeholder in the business, Atlas Capital Markets, who really bought into the space and the sector we're in, the markets that we're exposed to, the strategy that we're trying to pursue. And with their support, obviously, as a equity subscriber, that enables us to come on directly and avoid all the usual circus of an IPO, and get to the market and engage with a very broad variety and a number of both institutional and retail investors.
So how clever of you to come to market via a direct public listing. I've never heard of that before, and I think that you might be starting a new trend, but of course you did have the support to do that. So you've talked about what it is you do in broad brush strokes, but you're a retail technology driven e-commerce company. So if you can unpick those clauses for me and tell me what it is that the company actually does.
Yes, sure. I mean, we sell to consumers online is the very, very simple way of putting it. And we develop our own brands in-house. It's our plan to develop and launch a number of new products going forwards. We might also be interested in acquiring online digitally native businesses as well, to join us on the journey that we're embarking on. And we use retail technology platforms as a ground word for big online names like Amazon, like eBay, like Facebook, like Google. All of these platforms enable one to sell very, very effectively and very simply and very cost efficiently and reach millions of consumers all over the world.
So what are these products that you sell? Which brands within the portfolio are the most successful? The ones that are most well known that I might have heard of?
Well, we have a portfolio strategy, and we cover a number of, if you like, categories within that. But the principal brand at the heart of the business that we're listing today is a brand called ecommerce, which is a IT screen hygiene solution. As you can imagine, everybody has a screen either with them every day or every hour of every day, or sit in front of them at their desk. And the world is becoming more and more screen-centric. If you think about the whole concept of the Internet of Things, of screens in your kitchen, and even in your car today, if it's an electric vehicle, it's pretty much a screen. So screen interfaces are an essential part of a technology-driven future. We have a very simple cleaning hygiene solution, which is ecologically very sensitive and enables everybody to keep their vision very clear in front of the screen. Not least, keep it clean, and that's become and hygienic, which has become quite a big issue, obviously, since the pandemic. And so it's an example of a number of products that we have. We've been able to spot certain categories and certain consumer trends and certain consumer needs, and developed and launched and successfully managed across a number of online platforms.
So as you said, you're a 3-year-old startup. With respect, you're a very young business. So how do you intend to grow this young business into a thriving, successful household name?
Well, precisely because we're young and we're relatively small compared to some of the behemoths on the market that are now our peers. We have a very lean operation. We have a relatively small team, and the business to date has been very focused on Amazon, and being really good at building a business and marketing and selling on Amazon is our core strength. There are more than 20 now, I think, Amazon marketplaces globally, and we're only on 10. So we have a fantastic opportunity to grow on that platform alone with the expertise that we've got. But of course, there are many other cultures and countries in the world that don't think Amazon is the best thing since whatever. And there are a lot of other marketplaces worldwide which are doing very well in certain cultures and certain countries. And being able to access the technology of these marketplaces is relatively simple to get to expand into international markets through these. So that's going to be very much part of our strategy going forwards.
So at the moment, you're only selling Eco-Moist and the rest of your portfolio on 10 Amazon platforms. Is that what you're saying?
Essentially, that is the majority of our business. We also sell through our own direct-to-consumer website, which is a Shopify site, and we also sell on eBay. And but Amazon is our main channel at the moment, and and going multi is our buzzword, and that refers to going to multiple new channels in the future, and our opportunity is huge in that direction. And then we've talked about multinational as well, about new territories where the buying habits are becoming more and more e-commerce centric, as people are more and more happier and familiar and enjoy buying online. And that's obviously a big tailwind for our business, because e-commerce's share of total retail is only increasing day by day. New consumers of all ages and all demographics are becoming more and more happy to buy online. And
Can I just interrupt there, Chris? Because you talked about tailwinds and you're talking about consumers, but what about the multiple bogeymen? I'm talking about inflation, the cost of living crisis, fuel poverty. You've listed when these challenges are dominating the headlines. So how can the business thrive in this climate? What are you doing to woo the consumers who are worried about their pennies?
it's a very good question, and the consumer's discretionary income and ability to shop is something that's going to affect everybody and all of us, and we need to recognize that as a big issue for us, and the kind of products that we're managing in our portfolio, and our focus is on price points, anywhere between sort of 10 and £100. So we're not in the luxury sector. We're focusing on very functional, useful, staple day-to-day products that have real need, the consumer needs, and trying to continue to fulfill those needs that we're focused on fulfilling. And the timing is an interesting one. There is an expression of, that it's going to get worse before it gets better, but it will get better, and the only way is up, right? And so, we have a strategy, we have a plan, and we're going to execute that. And because we're starting from a relatively small base on a very solid platform of the business prior to listing, we've got every chance of making that work.
I love your optimism. I'm wondering if the rest of the management team share your positivity. In fact, speaking about management, you said it was a small team. So who are rolling their sleeves up? What's their names? What are they doing? And are they brilliant?
Of course, they're brilliant. And if they weren't brilliant, then I certainly wouldn't have joined in either. I think they're an exceptionally talented group of entrepreneurial problem solvers. Our founder, Reza Madavi, he was a very early adopter of Amazon, and he developed literally from his kitchen the solution, the ecological solution that is at the heart of our principal brand, ecommerce. And his brilliance and his vision was fundamental to this business. And I've got, there's a bunch of guys and girls in operating roles, in marketing roles, and in finance roles who are very digitally native and therefore a lot younger than me.
Oh, come on. Now, you're obviously fishing for compliments there. But here we are, first day of dealings, you've listed, but people saw opportunity and potential in you before you listed. So you mentioned them very briefly when we first started talking. Who backed you first? Who were the early financiers, and are they staying with you, or have they exited today?
No, we're keeping everybody and their support and commitment to the vision and the plan going forward is absolutely essential. One of our founders, Dominic White, who's heads up a private equity group called MRS Group, is very much involved and a significant shareholder through MRS Group. And the founder, Reza Madavi, is very much involved still, and that's important because of his original vision, of his consistent values, that we continue to have an entrepreneurial culture, and we keep a keen connection with sort of being focused on ecological products and sustainable solutions. So it's not just the financial capital; it's the emotional and human capital that's been expended, that we're retaining and taking us forward energetically.
So trading can be an emotional pastime. So finally, why should we invest in Zamaz?
Well, there's a whole bunch of reasons, not least because of the support we've had from Atlas to subscribe to our shares as part of the direct listing process. So we come to the market being able to instantly make a market and create demand for our stock. That certainly helps. The fundamental business was successful before and is based on a very strong underlying proposition with some really strong capabilities, which are actually, frankly, sort of not under resourced, but under optimized, under exploited. And we've got so many different dimensions of growth that we can go for, which we've talked about, expanding our portfolio of brands and products. We've talked about multi, that's the international expansion, the multinational opportunity that we have, because these big retail technology platforms that we use are so prevalent and so easy to access and set up on in many markets. And we have also something that's sort of quite central to us, which is a multicultural vision of sourcing good products ethically, in such a way that that we have the ability to talk to our consumers and to make them propositions and offers with products that have been properly researched and analyzed, and that we know who's involved in developing some of the ingredients and materials. It's quite a major concern for consumers today, and that's something that we take quite seriously as well.
So Chris, I'm looking at my screen now and it's filthy. So I count myself as one of your future buyers. In fact, as soon as this interview's over, I know that what I'm going to be buying. But let's hope that as well as the buyers, you get those shareholders and long-term ones at that. So thank you very much indeed, Chris Hill, Chief Executive of Zamaz. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sarah. Thank you.